Hi, I'm Alexandria Ingham from Show Snob. How are
Hey, how
you?
are you? Nice to
I'm
see you.
good. How are you?
Good, good, very good.
Good. So I binged all the screeners that I got, and I absolutely love how you have put us in the horror that the characters are in, that we have no idea. Like, was that purposefully done to keep it suspenseful?
Absolutely. I never want the audience to know any more than our characters because then you're just waiting for the characters to catch up. And so putting them in the same brain space, the same thought process as the characters is exactly what we want because we need you to care about the characters. If you don't care about the characters, you don't feel like they're in some sense you. How would I deal with this? How would I react to that? Then we've lost the game. You can have all the horror you want and all the thrills and all the science fiction, whatever it is, but if you don't care about the people, none of it matters. Then it's just stuff happening. So yeah, we want the characters as the characters are peeling back the layers of this show, which is, I would argue, is as much a mystery as it is a horror show, a thriller, a drama. Uh, you want the audience going along with those characters as opposed to being ahead of or behind the characters.
And so you start us off with putting us in a parent's worst nightmare with a missing child. Like, how did you tap into that for the writing and then, just help? Like, I felt it. I was there with them.
Well, I don't have kids, but I, can understand the feeling of that loss of control that you don't know where they are, you don't know what's happening to them, and you don't have a plan to uh, to make it all go away, to find them. So uh, I found it very easy to tap into. I think it's probably a little easier for me than it is for someone who does have children, because for me, it's a thought experiment that I feel because I'm trying to feel like the characters are. For someone who has kids, I imagine it's, my brother who has children. He's like, I don't like that part of the show. I don't like it because I've got kids, and I'm like, it's fine. You're gonna find them. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
So, I mean, I'd read the book, and the show is nothing like the book. Like, you've changed so much of it in such a brilliant way. Did you purposefully do that to leave us like,
Uh, did I purposefully do it? Yes, but I didn't spend a lot of time. I didn't do it by design. I read the book, I thought about it, and I knew what to do immediately. That didn't mean anyone was going to get on board with the idea, what I wanted to do. That didn't mean that we were going to make the show. It just meant I knew what I wanted to do with it. And so I read the book. I thought about it for about a day. I wrote the first episode. I gave it to Atomic Monster and James Wan and said, here it is. If you want to do it, this is how I want to do it. If you don't want to do it this way, then we won't do it. And luckily they jumped on board. But it was a gamble, but I felt like the story, the core of the story was really, really, really strong. But to make the book page for page, character for character, incident for incident would be, it would just be such a gargantuan and very expensive and very different from something that I would excel at. That I thought, well, what if we flipped it on its head? What if we took everything big and made it small? What if we took the wide scope and we looked at it through a keyhole and we see very few people and how they deal with something impossible like what's in the book. And I don't know. Hopefully it worked. I mean, you know.
what?
Uh, all right, there you go.
So it's I described it to Yvonne and Scott as a fast-paced slow burn because the horror is like keeping you going, but there's such a
hmm
slow burn with the characters. What was it like developing this, and did having only 30 minutes an episode actually help to do that?
Yeah, 30 minutes an episode was one of the smartest things that we did from the very beginning because it's such an economy of storytelling, economical way to tell a story that you don't get to stay in scenes for more than a page or two or a minute or two. And you can't kind of rest on your laurels. You have to move on to the next thing and the next thing. And uh, and that made it, that works for the momentum of the show. And a half an hour cliffhanger, oh, I got to move on to the next episode. That's great for keeping the audience involved. But at the same time, with both the familial and the character drama, and with what's happening in the supernatural world, you have to you don't get to say a lot. You have to, it's all about subtext, and it's all about not explaining things and moving on and moving on. Scott called it, I think, the fastest slow burn in TV, which I thought was very funny, because it is, you know, uh, yeah, I don't know. Now I'm rambling about that, but yeah.
No,
Did I
I love
answer the
it.
question? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, just as my last question, like, how did you go about making so like the effects and the scenery and everything like that? There was a lot that I didn't feel like we've seen before in TV. Like there was a lot that was unusual and unique, and it worked. Can you just go into that, just that process very quickly?
Sure. It's sort of the same thing with 30-minute episodes and with showing uh, less is more, less is more, less is more. That when we do see things and when horrific things happen, the, our job was to make the audience lean back, they're scared, and lean in because they want to see more. And the way you do that is we're not reinventing the wheel. It is a story. We know that bad things are going to happen. People are going to, succeed or fail. There's going to be tragedy. There's going to be triumph. But what can we show them that they know what it is, but they haven't seen it before? Uh, there's some things that the idea was to have something horrific, but that makes you lean in because it's a little bit different than you've seen. There is a sort of a horrific beauty to some of the things that the audience experiences and sees. And we talked about that a lot. And we started from abstraction and, kind of worked our way to what the thing would actually be. We talked about, and I think you've seen the episodes, you'll understand, we talked about bonsai trees and driftwood and statues and modern dance and I mean, a lot of things. And that's how, we got excited about it because we felt like we were doing something that was both familiar and new, if that makes sense.
I'm picturing it all now. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's a
Oh,
great.
thank you. Oh, thank you. Have a good day. Good
You
talking to
too.
you.